He disappeared after cheating, found dead in his aunt's freezer. I met Josh in college. He was the kind of guy who walked like he owned the world and talked like it owed him something back. Charisma leaking from his smirk, but always just a little too charming, if you know what I mean. That kind of charming that makes your gut twitch. We dated for 3 years, married for 6. It wasn't a perfect marriage. Hell, it wasn't even a good one near the end. But I still didn't think I'd end up standing in a police station, IDing his body from a photograph, lips blue, skin waxy, and stuffed in his aunt's goddamn freezer. But let me start from when things began to crack. You're being crazy again. It started with his gaming. Josh had always been a bit obsessed, nights spent glued to his headset, barking orders to strangers, laughing at inside jokes with people I never met. But something changed about 6 months before he vanished. He wasn't just gaming anymore. He was whispering. I'd catch him on Discord at 2 a.m., voice hushed, bedroom door locked, like some teenage boy hiding porn under his mattress. I tried to play it cool at first. Babe, who were you talking to last night? He barely looked up from his laptop. Just the squad. We're running a new RP server. RP? Roleplay. You know, missions, characters. It's fun. You wouldn't get it. Right. I wouldn't get it. The man who forgot our anniversary, but remembered every fucking update patch, suddenly didn't want to talk unless it involved a headset and a fake name. The gamer girl. Then, there was her. Lilith Nightshade. Yeah, that was her username. I saw it pop up one night on his screen when I walked past him on the couch. He quickly minimized the chat like a guilty teen minimizing porn, but I saw the message. Can't stop thinking about last night. Wish you were here instead of her. I froze. Who the hell is Lilith Nightshade? Josh looked at me like I kicked his puppy. It's just a game name. Jesus, Rachel, don't be insane. No, Josh, that's not just a game. That's someone telling you she wants to be with you instead of me. He stood up, towering over me like I was some annoying glitch in his system. Maybe if you weren't always nagging, I wouldn't need someone else to talk to. Silence. And that was it. The first time I realized I wasn't his wife anymore. I was his fucking roommate with legal paperwork. The vanishing. 2 weeks later, Josh left the house for a late-night drive to clear his head. He never came back. At first, I panicked, called the hospitals, called his friends, filed a missing persons report. But deep down, a small voice whispered, maybe he just ran off with her. That fake-ass gamer girl with her fake-ass name. But then the police called, and what they told me would shatter whatever pieces of love or hate I had left. We found him. I sat across from Detective Marshall, hands trembling, coffee untouched. We located your husband's body, he said flatly, as if it were a line he had to say 5 times that week. I blinked. Wait, what? What do you mean, body? He's dead, Mrs. Carter. We found him in the basement freezer of his aunt's house. Elizabeth Carter? I gasped. Liz? That's number... No, that can't be. Liz is harmless. She feeds pigeons and grows succulents, for God's sake. The detective slid a folder across the table. I opened it. Josh. Blue lips, half-frozen smile, and something scrawled on his neck in black marker. You shouldn't have lied to her. My stomach flipped. Who the hell wrote that? The chill beneath the succulents. I hadn't seen Aunt Liz in months. She always kept to herself, lived out on the edge of town in a sagging Victorian-style house with vines crawling up its sides like they were trying to get out. When I drove there with the detectives, everything looked normal. Wind chimes, lawn flamingos, porch swing creaking like always. But the basement? That's where it all changed. Detective Marshall lifted the tarp off the freezer and gave me one last chance. You sure you want to see this? I nodded. Inside, under 3 bags of frozen corn and a pack of Costco chicken thighs, was Josh, his body curled like a child's, lips blue, neck stiff, eyes wide open. I collapsed, threw up right there on her damn shag rug. The questions begin. Liz was arrested that night. She barely resisted. She sat in the back of the cruiser, hands cuffed, head tilted like she didn't even care. When I screamed at her, demanded to know why, she only said, he should have stayed loyal. You deserved better. Better? The woman who never smiled, who collected wind-up dolls and never left her house, had just killed her nephew. For me, that night I couldn't sleep. The words written on Josh's neck echoed in my skull like sirens. You shouldn't have lied to her. But who was her? Me? Or was Liz covering up something way darker? Something neither I nor the cops had figured out yet? I couldn't sleep that night. I kept staring at the corner of the bedroom where Josh's gaming chair used to sit, like it might suddenly swivel on its own. His face, frozen, pale, dead in a freezer under a bag of corn, was all I could see every time I closed my eyes. And those words burned into his neck. You shouldn't have lied to her. I needed answers, but the only person who might have them was sitting behind bars, and she didn't look like she was planning to talk. The visit to Liz County Jail smelled like bleach and fear. When they brought Liz into the visitation room, she looked like she was on a damn spa retreat. Calm, hairbrushed, hands folded neatly like she'd just finished a crossword puzzle. I stared at her through the glass, then picked up the phone. Why? I asked. She smiled like I'd asked her the weather. Because sometimes evil doesn't come with a warning, dear. I slammed the glass. I want the truth. You killed your own nephew. Her eyes flicked up, suddenly sharp. He was going to hurt you, Rachel? You think I didn't see it? The lying, the gaslighting, the other women? That girl with the stupid name? Lilith? He played you, over and over. And when I saw what he was planning next, I had to act. My blood went cold. What do you mean what he was planning next? She leaned in, her voice a whisper. He wasn't just cheating. He was trying to disappear, leave you bankrupt, drain the joint account, start over with her. You would have been ruined. I froze. No one, not even the police, had told me that. The hidden drive. Back home, I tore through Josh's desk, every drawer, every file, until I found it. A USB drive hidden inside an empty protein powder tub. I plugged it in. My stomach knotted as folder after folder opened up. Lilith chats, archive, Plan B account info, Rachel docs, editable. I clicked, and what I saw made my heart sink. A Word doc titled, Divorce Plan, May 18th Execution. Inside, he detailed everything. Empty savings account, moved to Miami. Tell Rachel I need space. Use gaslight phrases like, you're not the same. File divorce papers in advance. Tell Lilith I'm coming soon. Make Rachel look unstable. Maybe even suggest she's violent. If needed, call Liz and fake concern. She'll believe anything. He was going to leave, destroy me, and somehow use his aunt as cover, but she didn't fall for it. She saw it coming. Family secrets. Detective Marshall called the next morning. We did a deeper dive into Aunt Liz's past, he said. You're going to want to sit down. Apparently, Elizabeth Carter wasn't just a sweet old lady with a succulent obsession. She was once a psychiatric nurse at a state hospital, one with a documented history of moral boundary issues, including 2 cases of inappropriate relationships with male patients. And one of those patients? Her younger sister's husband, Josh's father. Yeah, Liz had been close to Josh since he was a boy. Too close. Took him in after his parents split. Raised him like her own. There were rumors, whispers, things that never made it to paper. But now, they were starting to make sense. Mel's chilling words. Mel, Liz's teenage niece, lived with her part-time. Quiet kid, big headphones, eyes always scanning like she knew things she wasn't supposed to. When the cops questioned her, she said something strange. I heard them, 2 nights before Josh disappeared, arguing in the basement. She said, I loved you like he loved me, and now you treat me like I'm insane? Then Josh yelled, You were never my mother. You were just the crazy B-teach who babysat me. After that, silence. Mel swore she heard the freezer slam shut, and when she asked Aunt Liz the next morning where Josh went, Oh, he's gone, sweetheart. He finally realized who he really was. The notebook. The final straw came from the evidence room. Liz kept a leather-bound notebook next to her bed. Pages of it were filled with weird ramblings, fantasies, obsessions, but one line was written over and over like a chant. He lied to her. He lied to me. Lying men belong on ice. I dropped the folder and ran to the bathroom to throw up. So who really killed Josh? Was it revenge for me? Or was it jealousy? Was Liz protecting me? Or punishing Josh for a twisted past that no one fully understood? The police called it a murder. But me? I wasn't sure. Because Liz didn't just kill Josh. She froze him, she marked him, and she made sure I would find him. The letter came 2 days later. No return address, just my name, in sharp red ink. Inside was a single page, written with a calm, looping hand. I'm not who you think I am. I never was. I didn't steal your man. I found him. My hands shook. At the bottom, it was signed, Lilith, but that's not my real name. I took it to the police detective. Marshall didn't look surprised. She's been on our radar, he said, flipping open a file marked CRIMINALALIAS Turns out, Lilith had used at least 4 different names across 6 states. She'd bounced between relationships with men who all disappeared. One in Texas, one in Ohio, one in Colorado, found dead in a septic tank, teeth removed. Her real name, Sarah Lynn Graves. And she had a record. Stalking, assault, fraud. But the creepiest thing, she'd once worked with Liz, briefly, at that same state hospital. The missing surveillance footage. Marshall got a warrant to pull footage from Liz's basement cameras. But one night's recordings were gone, the exact night Josh vanished. The hard drive had been wiped clean, professionally. Only one short clip was left, 13 seconds. In it, Josh is pacing in the basement, yelling at someone off-screen. Then he suddenly freezes, turns his head, whispers, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And the last frame before the video cuts? A blurry silhouette stepping out of the shadows. It wasn't Liz. The figure was taller, younger, wearing a red coat. Lilith was there, that red coat. I remembered it from a photo on Josh's burner phone. She was wearing it, standing in front of some ski lodge. The caption read, "Last winter, before everything changed." It hit me like a gut punch. She was in the house that night. She knew Liz. And somehow, they'd both been part of what happened to Josh. A forgotten photo album. In Liz's attic, behind boxes of Christmas junk, I found a leather photo album. Old, dusty, pages cracked. The first few pages were normal. Baby Josh, birthday cakes, pets. But halfway through, things got disturbing. Photos of Josh and Liz, but posed, like portraits. His face always stiff, expression forced. One had a note scrawled below it. "He still doesn't remember who he is." Another. "If I can't fix what his mother broke, no one will." And then, a picture of Josh with a girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old. Black hair, dull eyes. The name Sarah, written underneath. Lilith. They knew each other. Since childhood, Josh's first disappearance. I dug deeper, asked Liz's old neighbours, co-workers, and one woman, her name was Marcy, remembered something chilling. When Josh was about 10, he vanished. Everyone thought he ran away, but 3 days later he came back. Changed. Quieter. Confused. Didn't talk much after that. Some people whispered that Liz kept him downstairs during that time. When I asked Marcy what happened to Sarah, her voice dropped. She was in foster care, came and went, but one time she and Josh ran off together. They were found in a shed, half-starved. Liz said they were just playing, but it felt wrong, real wrong. The map inside the freezer. One last thing the detectives missed. Taped under the freezer lid was a map, drawn in red marker, a rough sketch of Liz's property, but one part was circled, deep in the woods behind her house. They searched it, and there, under a pile of rocks, they found a rusted metal box. Inside, Josh's childhood diary, a Polaroid of him and Lilith at age 12, both with black eyes, a pocket knife etched with the word "Saviour," and a note, "If she ever comes back, run. She remembers too much." And so do I. So what really happened? Josh wasn't just cheating. He wasn't just disappearing. He was trying to escape something that had followed him for years. Something tied to Liz, and tied to Lilith. Their past was tangled, violent, twisted beyond anything I'd imagined. And now, one of them was dead. The other was still out there, watching. The call came at 2:44 a.m. private number. I almost didn't answer. But when I did, her voice hit me like ice. "You weren't supposed to open the box." "Who is this?" I whispered. "You know who I am." "Lilith?" Silence. Then, "He chose you. That's why he had to die." Click. I was being watched. The next morning, I noticed it. A small scratch on my front door lock, like someone had tried to pick it. And my trash bin, the one I left on the curb, was moved. Just a few inches, but enough to know I didn't do it. When I checked my backyard camera, it was offline, Wi-Fi jammed, battery dead. The last saved frame before it cut. A woman in a red coat. Detective Marshall called another body had been found, about 3 miles from Liz's house, buried under an abandoned tool shed. No ID, but what was found? A necklace. It matched one I'd seen in an old photo of Josh. A locket with a tiny R inside. Only, the skull was too small to be Josh's. Dental records confirmed it. It was Sarah Lynn Graves. Lilith was already dead. Then who was I talking to? I begged Marshall for more. Anything. That's when he pulled me aside and said, "We may be dealing with someone else entirely. Someone using her identity. Apparently, Lilith's records, school, medical, employment, were tampered with over the years. Photos swapped, addresses faked. It was like someone had assumed her life after she disappeared in foster care at 14, a shapeshifter in plain sight. Liz's will was unsealed. You'd think, after all that, Liz would have left her estate to someone in the family. But no. Every dollar, every asset, every inch of her creepy house was left to a name no one recognized. To my beloved daughter, Rosalie Graves. Graves. Same last name as Sarah, aka Lilith. I asked Marshall if it was a typo. He just stared at the paper and muttered, "She didn't have a daughter. Or did she?" I looked into Rosalie Graves. No birth record, no social media, no credit, ID, nothing. But one lead came from a former nurse who worked with Liz. She remembered Liz once bringing a little girl to the hospital, saying she was her niece. Quiet, withdrawn, barely spoke. She said the girl had a strange obsession with freezers, used to sit in the staff break room, staring at the old icebox. And she remembered one other thing. She never blinked. The ending of Josh's diary. I sat alone and flipped to the last page of Josh's childhood diary. The writing was shaky. They're trying to make me forget. But I remember the red coat. I remember the shed. I remember the name she whispered in my ear before they locked me in the basement. He never wrote the name, but beneath the last line, there was a fingerprint, smudged in red ink or blood. I scanned it, ran it against the police database. The result? No match, because the person it belonged to didn't officially exist. The truth? I think Rosalie was real, maybe even Liz's daughter, raised in secret, hidden in plain sight, maybe even passed off as Lilith. And I think Josh found out. Maybe he fell in love with the wrong person, or the right one, and paid the price for it. All I know is this. Whoever Rosalie is, she's still out there, and she knows I'm looking for her. Liz's house wasn't empty anymore. After the will was read, police sealed the house. But 2 nights later, the back door alarm was triggered. No signs of forced entry, just unlocked. Detective Marshall called me in, not as a suspect, but as someone who knew the story better than anyone. I walked in with gloves, flashlight, and the kind of dread you can't shake. The place smelled like mold and ammonia. Freezer still powered on, still humming, but this time, the freezer wasn't empty. Inside the freezer, not a body, but a box. Same wooden box I'd seen in that photo of Josh and Lilith years ago. Same carving, a rose with a bleeding stem. Inside, a pair of scissors, rusted and stained. A child's drawing, a woman in a red coat holding hands with a stick figure labelled me, and a key taped to the back of the drawing, with a note. For the room she locked us in. RG, the hidden room behind the bookshelf. I had seen the bookshelf before, but never realised it slid. The key fit a lock hidden behind Shakespeare's Macbeth. Yeah, poetic. It opened to a narrow staircase, winding down. The air got colder with each step, like descending into her mind. At the bottom, a room. Walls covered in newspaper clippings, Polaroids and names. Josh's photo was there. Circled. Mine too. Even Marshall's. And right in the centre, scrawled in what looked like charcoal, I was never Lilith. I am Rosalie. And you chose him. The final footage. Marshall found a USB drive in the desk. We watched it in the police office that same night. Grainy footage, but clear enough. It showed Josh, tied to a chair, weak, pale, crying, and a woman off camera, voice distorted but eerily calm. You broke the rules. You never tell them about me. Please. I didn't mean to. Don't lie, you wanted her. You chose her. She'll never know how cold it is in the dark. Then silence. The screen went black. One final phrase appeared. Forgiveness is colder than death. The name scratched into the wall. We returned to the room. Behind the freezer, where the drywall had cracked, someone had carved deep into the cement. Not a phrase, not a warning, just a name. Emily. We ran the name. She was real. A 6-year-old girl who disappeared from foster care in 1999. Same year Liz adopted her so-called niece. No record after that. Emily Graves, the original. Rosalie, a name she gave herself. The case went cold. But she didn't. Marshall classified it as a closed investigation. But we both knew the truth. Rosalie's still out there. She's been someone else before. She'll do it again. Everywhere I go, I see red coats. I hear the freezer humming. Sometimes I wake up to find my front door unlocked, and a single child's drawing folded on the floor. The last one? A stick figure with red eyes. standing behind another figure, labelled You.